In this video, I want to work through completing the square as a beginner versus an expert. Now, I'm not an expert in any regard, but ladies and gentlemen, as a teacher, you do problems over and over and over again. And I always remember the grumblings that my students would hear when I say, all right, now we have to complete the square, or now today we're going to go over completing the square. And if they had any experience with it, they would grumble, they would moan. They're like, oh no, completing the square. It was something that was confusing to them. They forgot the steps. They didn't understand what to look out for. So that's the way I want to approach this, is how a beginner, how we teach going through the steps of completing the square. And then once you do multiple examples of this, you start seeing some patterns. And what are some ways that you can complete the square quickly? We're actually even faster than it would be to use the quadratic formula, and for a lot of times, maybe even factor. So again, we want to use completing the square when something is non-factorable. We can use completing the square to find the vertex of a quadratic or to solve a quadratic equation. But let's go through the process. Let's work through a problem of completing the square in a beginner way as well as an expert way. So the first problem I'm going to work through, is y equals x squared plus 4x plus 1. Now, for the sake of this video, let's just go ahead and complete the square to find like the vertex, to rewrite it in vertex form. This is one of the more common ways that we use completing the square. So if you recall, the steps to completing the square is we want to be able to identify our b. Okay, we want to make sure there's nothing in front of our a, which in this video we won't work on that because doing a lot of this expert ways, you can make some mistakes. So I don't want to do that. So we have nothing, no coefficients of our quadratic term. That's good. So what you're going to do is take your b, and again, this is for all quadratics in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our b, divide it by 2, and square it. So we're going to do 4 divided by 2 squared. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us the number 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add that 4 to our first two terms. So a lot of times I tell students to put parentheses around these first two terms. That is going to be the expression that we are going to create a perfect square trinomial. So we're going to add a 4 inside of these parentheses. And then remember, it's an equation. So whatever you do inside, you have to do on the outside. So now my quadratic is going to look something like this. So I'm going to have y is equal to a x squared plus a 4x. And I'll put a plus 1. I'm changing my color, so that's why I have everything like this. So we have an x squared plus 4, end parentheses, and then I subtract 4, right? So we have to keep this equation the same. Now we have created a perfect square trinomial, and we know that all perfect square trinomials can be factored down into binomial squared. So now we got to say, well, what's the factored form of this? That's going to be a x plus 2 squared. So now I write this as a x plus 2 quantity squared, and then 1 minus 4 is going to give me a -3, right? That's typically how we work through it step by step. So now let's go and look at this in the expert way, okay? And if you were to give me this problem and I was like, I needed to complete the square, how would I approach this? Doing all the examples that I have done, what would I immediately do, okay? So I would look at this a little bit differently. Rather than trying to group them, trying to take my b, remembering b divided by 2, squaring it, find that value, I would immediately look at these first two numbers and I say, all right, I have x squared plus 4x. What number do I need to add to that to create that as a perfect square trinomial? All right. And hopefully you recognize, and the reason why you get to this point is when you complete the square over and over, you're working with perfect square trinomials. Okay. And if you want me just to write them down for you, let's kind of go through them. X squared plus 2x plus 1. X squared plus a 4x plus 4. X squared plus a 6x plus 9. X squared plus a, what am I at? 3, so I'm at 4. So a 4, so 8x plus a 16. And then we have the last one is a x squared plus a 10x plus 25, right? These are all perfect square trinomials. And again, the middle term could also be negative as well. So you could do binomial squares from there. But ladies and gentlemen, when you work through completing the square so many times, you recognize this. So immediately when I see this, I say, oh, if I add 4 into here, that's going to give me a perfect square trinomial that I can break down into a x plus 2 quantity squared. I can already factor this in my head. So therefore I rewrite this as a x plus 2 quantity squared. I know if I add a 4 inside here to create that perfect square trinomial, I need to subtract a 4. And what is 1 minus 4? That's a -3. can quickly go ahead and do it in my head. Now, you might be saying, well, Mr. McLogan, this is an easy example. What about if you had one with fractions? Or what about if you had one with coefficients? Now, I said at the beginning of the video, if you have a coefficient of your x squared, I would not advise trying to do this stuff in your head. Some students can get away with it. But if you're a student like me, that just means you're more likely to make a mistake. So I would not advise it. However, with fractions, or if you have a middle term that's not even, you can still do it. So let's kind of work through what would happen if we had something like this. Okay. Now, again, this is why I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing this. Again, that's just the beginner level of completing the square. Take your middle term. Well, first, let's go ahead and put parentheses around our first two terms. I didn't do that first in the last example. Do that first. Put parentheses around the first two terms. Take your middle term, divide it by 2, square it. That's going to give you a 9/4. Now, we're going to take our 9/4. We're going to plug it inside the parentheses, plus a 9/4, and then we're going to subtract it outside the parentheses, and then we have our plus 1, okay? Now, again, here, students get confused because they have to go ahead and factor this, and they're like, I don't know how to factor that. Like, I can factor x squared plus 4x plus 4, right? I can factor all of these, but what do I do here? So again, with a little bit of practice, you recognize that the factored form is simply just going to be whatever your b divided by 2 was. So this would be an x plus a 3/2 quantity squared. That's going to be the factored form. And again, check it out. 3/2 times 3/2 is 9/4. 3/2 plus 3/2 is going to be a 6/2, which is 3, right? So you can see how it checks out. And then over here, oh man, I got to do 9/4 and 4. So what we can do is get common denominators, right? And then you could say, all right, that's going to equal a -5/4. Okay. Now, can we do the same one over here? Yes, of course we can, right? What am I doing? Wait. Oh, wait. Here's the problem. Where's the problem? There it is. I was like losing my mind. Okay. Wait, no, here's the problem. Duh. All right, let's write it up here. So if I had a y, actually, let's write it down here. That's fine. So y equals a x squared plus a 3x plus 1. Okay. So a couple things. Again, I'm doing a lot of work in my head, but I realize this is not going to create a perfect square trinomial. But what I can do is I don't need to create that perfect square trinomial immediately. I know if I just divide that by 2, that's going to be my b, right? That's going to be my part over here. So I know that automatically the factored form is just going to be x plus a 3/2, right? Because I know automatically from there it's going to be there. Then to get the term that I'm going to subtract, I just square this, which I know is going to be a 9/4. Then the other thing I can do, which I can just do in my head, is 1 is the same thing as 4/4, right? 2 is the same thing as 8/4. So if I know I have a 9/4, whatever my last digit is, again, if it's something like crazy, you might not want to do this, but again, I can just rethink of that number as the same number as over 4. So a 3 would be a 12/4, right? But now in this case, we have a 1. So I'm immediately thinking this as a 4/4. So I'm thinking plus a 4/4 minus a 9/4. And I ran out of space, apologies. Right? So therefore, a lot of times, sometimes this number is what would require some work for you. But immediately from here, you can just say that, oh, that's squared. My final answer is y equals a x plus 3/2 quantity squared. And again, that's going to be minus, let's write that out there. Oh, shoot. So therefore, it'd be a minus a 5/4. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is a breakdown from the beginner to the expert version of completing the square. But I get it, guys. Completing the square takes a lot of practice. So if you want some more videos of completing the square, then check out the next video I have for here. And if you want to see more examples of me going through beginner versus basics, then check out the playlist I have for you down below. Cheers.